This is the afternoon Foreman Huddle kickoff video. In this video, we're going to talk about how to run an afternoon Foreman Huddle, what it's for, why it's so important, and really make sure that you feel comfortable when implementing this. So I do want to remind you that this is either intended for you to watch before the meeting or as a part of the kickoff within the meeting. Either way, we want you to be able to pause throughout so you can implement these steps, and feel free to text me anytime if you have any questions at 1-602-571-8987. So what is a Foreman Huddle? Why is it in the afternoon? What in the world's going on? Why do I need it? We're going to talk about all of those right now. So the afternoon Foreman Huddle, the purpose of it, and sometimes it's been called the daily huddle, but either way, the purpose is to plan the next day, or on some projects, the day of. I wouldn't recommend that though. I would do it the day before, and I'll explain why on my flip chart over here. So if you have work, what I want in a single day, let's say that this is Wednesday, for instance, this is the start of the day, this is the end of the day. I personally Jason Schroeder, want the foreman and the workers to be together in the most productive part of the day. We also know that after 11 a.m., most of the injuries on a construction project happen. Why? Because people are tired. They lose mental focus. They lose mental discipline. All human beings do. So also after lunch, most of the resources in your body move from normal function to digestion. So I want the more easy tasks to be done in the afternoon. So that leads me to believe that while we're staging materials and cleaning up and doing things that are fairly common or rhythmic or simple, that the foreman can be in a huddle to plan the next day. Because here's the question. If you're going to give a speech, are you going to plan 5 minutes ahead of time? Or if you're going to run a meeting, are you going to plan 5 minutes ahead of time? Or if you're going to do some crucial thing, are you going to plan 5 minutes ahead of time, like going camping? Are you going to pack 5 minutes ahead of time, or just that morning? Or are you going to do it the day before? The answer is simple. You're going to do it the day before. So I really want this meeting, the huddle, to have been the day before. That way, any permissions, any permits, any needs, any diesel you've got to go get, the generator, the cords, the materials, everything is done the day before so you can hit the ground running that morning and really be with your people and be effective. So that's why I do it in the afternoon. And now let me tell you why we include the foreman. So the foremen are the most valuable or value add position we have on a construction project. We rise or fall, we live or die based on the quality and the execution of the foreman on site. So here's what I want to do. I want to get all of the foremen together and say, all right, here's our overall master schedule. Here's the milestone. Okay? All right, good. Next, here is from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, all of our individual commitments that we committed to on our weekly work plan. Great, love it. But if I have the foreman and I'm showing them these on a visual and they're all in a conference room and they're all looking up there with me, I want them together to be able to outline a plan for the day based on this milestone, based on this weekly work plan, but to prepare the next day. And that will make sure that we have all material and logistical needs. We have the labor, we have the training, we have the permissions, we have the layout, we have everything that we need for the next day so that we, like I said, can hit the ground running with the people that matter, the people boots on the ground in the field. So I want this group of people together to say, hey, you know, what is our plan? What materials are coming? What inspections do we have? What are we going to do? How are we going to manage handoffs? How are we going to manage this with the weather and circumstances we have to have a really successful plan for the day? So in the afternoon Foreman Huddle, you are going to include the superintendent, assistant superintendent, the field engineers, project engineers preferably, That's why it's also in the afternoon, so that everyone can be there. And like I said, the foreman or the last planners, the last people in the planning cycle, we want them to plan their own work. There's no way we can shove a plan down their throat and expect anyone to execute it. So they're there as a part of that next day planning in the afternoon previous. So the agenda looks like this. First and foremost, you're going to start off with a welcome. Positive shout outs like we do in every meeting. And in this meeting, you can quickly do a lightning round, meaning for 30 or 60 seconds, say, hey, what are your updates? What things do you want on the agenda? What are your updates? What things do you want on the agenda? And go around the room. Now that you have that foundation, you can cover the main part of this meeting. So here's what we will do in this meeting. Just like the Trade Partner Weekly Tactical, where we looked at last week, this week, and next week, we will look at how we did yesterday, how we performed today before the meeting, and we will make a plan for the next day that we can communicate to all of the workers. Once we create a day plan and we identify on the schedule for that day exactly what activities need to be done for the next day based on what we accomplished the day of or the day yesterday, we will be able to ask the question, how are we going to make this happen? Not when, we already know when. How are we going to make this happen? And the how really comes in the form of two things. Are there any roadblocks and do we need to remove them? And secondly, are there any handoffs and do we need to manage them properly? We're really looking at what do we need to make this work. And again, what are the safety requirements? What are the logistical requirements? What are any of the needs that we have? Permissions, inspections, material staging, crane usage, forklift usage that we need to really make sure that we implement the plan for the next day, and we ask for those things that we need in the moment. That's the purpose of the meeting. Now here's the key point that I want to mention. As we discuss the activities for the next day, any of the following pertinent items should be written down on a board to then be communicated to the workers. Number one, the safety focus for the next day. What is the biggest hazard for the next day? Let's write it down and make sure that we're ready to communicate that in the worker huddle, the all hands daily meeting that we will have the next morning. Two, are there any permissions or permits for the next day? Hot work permits? Are there any digging permits? Is there any kind of permit required that would enable work in the morning and that the crew would need right away? Discuss that as item number 2 and write it down. Number 3, deliveries. What is it? When is it coming and where is it going? That should be coordinated on a visual plan for the next day so that the entire delivery schedule is stable and predictable. 4, what kind of training do we need to provide to the entire job site in the next day's morning worker huddle for everyone to be on the same page and to continue that culture and to reinforce how we're going to execute that day? 5, the general plan. As we go through, we need to be able to communicate to all workers what the general plan is. Anything that is of note that we will want to discuss with the entire job site should be written down on that day plan. 6, we should cover weather. So the next day when we talk to the workers, we want to cover the weather. So that way we come and we talk to the workers, and like I'll show you in the next video in the worker huddle, we welcome them, we ask them for feedback, we do positive shout outs, which hopefully are all prepared for the day before. We talk about permissions, we talk about safety, we talk about logistics, we talk about the plan, and we talk about the weather. We have a plan. And what's really interesting is that you can actually put your day plans on a Canva file, C-A-N-V-A, according to a QR link, and have those updated daily, and any of the workers on the project site can scan that code and see that plan for the day, in addition to hearing it in the morning worker huddle from you. Before you leave, go around to every single foreman, every last planner, and say, do you have everything you need for tomorrow? Do you have all the materials, and do you understand and agree with this plan? Thumbs up. Do you have everything you need? Do you have all the materials, and do you understand and agree with this plan? Thumbs up. And if you can leave that meeting having everyone see as a group, know as a group, so that tomorrow they can act as a group, you can win in a remarkable way and have such a higher percentage on your percent plan complete. And so after the meeting, I want that visual day plan to go out to as many people as possible. After that day planning session, the afternoon foreman huddle, I want everybody on the project site to hear it in the morning worker huddle. I want everything to be predictable and work in day-tight compartments consistently, safely, with predictability and stability, so that people can go home safely and feel like they're winning that day. At the end of the afternoon foreman huddle, highly encourage a plus delta meeting. And I do want to say in closing, please like and subscribe to the channel so that you can get the other videos, specifically the morning worker huddle video. We want you to stay with us. We want you to be successful with these meetings. And here's a bit of encouragement for you foremen and you supers. You can do this every single day. I know you're a little bit tired in the afternoon. I know you've just submitted your daily report. I know you're now coordinating difficult stuff. This is real work. And I know you're preparing for tomorrow. But you will be able to close it off, prepare, go to sleep, get it out of your head, and win tomorrow in the morning when everyone is at their best. And so if you hold this meeting and improve it as you go, I promise you, you will be able to execute at a higher level on a daily basis. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope it's useful. Please find all of our resources, references, and outlines in the description below. On we go.